Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for this new edition of Business Africa. This week we focus on technological initiatives to improve the lives of Africans. But first, let's get on with the show with our top stories today. African startups are getting into the farming spirit. We head for Yaoundé to discover the promise of the startup Agrix Tech.
Quand tu places l'application,
when you place the app over the plant, it tells you what disease the tomato has.
La maladie que la tomate a. Ça te propose également
It also gives you the solution, the product you can use to treat the disease.
Soigner la maladie.
Goodbye to fuel generators. Solar panels are making a triumphant arrival in Gabon's villages.
Le groupe électrogène nous revenait cher.
The generator was expensive because in terms of diesel, to run the structure, you need milliliters.
Beaucoup de litres.
Water from dispensers, even for those with the lowest incomes. That's the challenge this entrepreneur from Rwanda has decided to take on. The river is the cause of the death of many people who come to collect this dirty water. This water also causes us many health problems. If we had cleaner water, we wouldn't come here. A smartphone in every African field, that's the hope of Agrix Tech, a Cameroonian startup based in Yaoundé. Its digital solutions based on automatic learning algorithms range from finding funding to insurance and market access, not forgetting technical agricultural advice. Our correspondent in Cameroon, Abubakar Sidik Munchili, followed the work of this startup. Take a look. A smartphone in the middle of a field, like the one held by this Cameroonian farmer in his tomato field, is more than just a trend, and it's definitely not a gadget without any connection to its production. He uses an app on his smartphone to scan the plants, and the recorded video is automatically analyzed, and all useful information that he needs is being provided.
Quand tu places l'application,
when you place the app over the plant, it tells you what disease the tomato has.
La maladie que la tomate a. Ça te propose également
It also gives you the solution, the product you can use to treat the disease.
Soigner la maladie.
Many African farmers are experimenting with a digital revolution that has taken hold of the agricultural sector. The result is a host of innovations to boost agriculture across the continent.
I've never had such success in all the years I've been working. Thanks to Agrix Tech these days, I feel that I'm on the right track.
It's an invaluable tool for Jean Rameau Sukuk and his vast 3-hectare field in the center region of Cameroon. Tomatoes are in great demand and are selling at good prices on the market these days. He's confident, he says, of making a good yield.
The first ones are already mature. Where we are now, it's the 7th week after transplanting. On the other side, some are perhaps a week old, others 2 weeks old. We evolve as we go along. I've been a market gardener for almost 10 years. In the last few years, I've come to know Agrix Tech.
Agrix Tech app enables farmers to detect plant diseases. The app works offline and is in Cameroon's national language. Farmers who use it do not need an internet connection. They can use it in their mother tongue. In addition to this application, we have been able to develop other apps. For example, we have an app that enables our field agents to study agricultural risks right from the start of the project. Agrix Tech is an original idea from these young Cameroonians, an agricultural technology startup led by this young telecoms engineer, a pure product of the African diaspora who, after studying in Germany, thought he would be more useful to his continent and his native Cameroon than anywhere else.
L'idée d'Agrix Tech m'est venue en 2018.
The idea for Agrix Tech came to me in 2018 when I was finishing my studies in business administration in Germany.
Et il s'agissait de pouvoir apporter.
And the idea was to be able to provide farmers with the opportunity to run profitable agricultural projects that would enable them to support themselves. I had already had a little farming experience in 2015, but it hadn't gone well, and I realized that these farmers are exposed to many difficulties.
The Agrix Tech platform, which operates with a wide range of young people who work daily in this office at the heart of Yaoundé, is trying to solve many farming-related problems. Others are on the ground in the regions of Cameroon, where this young company is active, while waiting to perhaps head towards other countries on the continent.
Nous avons constaté que les agriculteurs
We've noticed that African farmers, particularly Cameroonian farmers, have three main problems when it comes to making a fulfilling activity.
Le premier problème, c'est l'accès au financement.
The first problem is access to finance.
L'accès à
The second problem is access to the new agricultural technologies that can help them to increase their yield.
permettre d'augmenter leur rendement. Et le troisième problème, c'est
And the third problem is access to the market.
c'est que nous fournissons à ces
So we are providing these farmers with a means of accessing new agricultural technologies and financial services.
l'agriculture, aux nouvelles technologies de l'agriculture et aux services financiers.
When a farmer has an agricultural project, the agent uses the application to go out in the field and note down all the information about the project, such as the previous crop yields, the location, the measurements of the land, the soil tests, NPK, pH, and so on.
Il fait les tests de sol, le NPK, le pH et autres. Dès qu'il met ça dans l'application, les agents...
If the project is viable, our platform automatically generates a business plan.
Ils reçoivent les informations directement sur la plateforme. Et là, si le projet est viable, notre plateforme génère...
And a certificate enabling the farmer to obtain microcredit from our financial partners.
D'obtenir un microcrédit chez nos partenaires financiers.
Once the microcredit has been given to the farmer, we start monitoring his project. That is, every week the farmer gets a call about his project. Agrix Tech promises to provide a call-out service and follow-up in the field through harvesting and even sale on the market via the supply of quality seeds and recommended inputs. The young company claims to have more than 3,000 farmers already on its database, including Jean Rameau Sukuju, who specializes in growing tomatoes and other products that are just as popular in the Cameroonian market and beyond. An ever-growing number, and enough to make this young Cameroonian and his team say that they were right to invest in this promising niche for innovative digital solutions in agriculture on the African continent. There's still the thorny problem of financial support from investors to resolve, and above all, for farmers in rural areas, access to smartphones, which are still very expensive in Africa. The call from African leaders at the annual United Nations General Assembly in New York was clear, ending the old African vision. But behind the official speeches, there were also money talks. Among the initiatives to follow, Rwandan President Paul Kagame has stepped up his meetings with captains of industry, and Kenyan President William Ruto agreed with Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky on possibly establishing a cereal center in Mombasa for deliveries to the continent's most impoverished nations. Meanwhile, the impact of the war in Ukraine and inflation on imported goods continue to undermine the continent's economies. In Ghana, growth is at half-mast and a harmful circuit of unpaid bills has developed in the construction and energy sectors. The country has received $3 billion in emergency aid from the IMF, but is still struggling to get back on track and pay off its international debt. And while many countries are experiencing frequent power cuts, the solar energy revolution continues to spread across Africa. In recent years, the continent has been turning to renewable energies. More and more solar panels are bringing electricity to rural communities, transforming the lives of millions of households. Such is the case in Gabon, reported by our local correspondent, Jean-Louis Dabani.
In this dugout canoe lies the future. Solar kits imported from Asia are changing the lives of rural communities. Jeremy and his team travel to villages to install solar panels. Today they are on their way to visit a new client. Built on the banks of the river Ogoué, this hotel complex was previously powered by diesel. Today, powered by solar panels on the hotel roof, these lithium accumulators linked to these boxes will allow a 52-inch plasma television, freezers and even a 2-horsepower air conditioner. All day long, the solar panels store energy to produce light at night, light for progress, light for the future, light simply for cooking day and night.
We have a reservation of at least 40 people from the World Bank. They have gone on a trip to Ogoué and everything will be ready when they arrive. But thanks to solar, we can prepare before they arrive thanks to the light to put on music, power the projector, and solar fans. Thanks to solar. And frankly, it helps us at all levels. Right now I'm cooking a wild boar with sauce for the tourists who have gone for a walk. When they come back, everything will be ready. If we didn't have solar power, we would have to work in the shade, we would still have to use the generator and to spend money. Very expensive. Solar energy saves us money, especially on fuel for the generator, etc.
The idea to innovate came from this man. Few people like him are trying to conquer the solar market in the middle of the countryside. The costs and distances are too high. However, this did not discourage the accountant from turning to these small panels, which now change everything and save him from spending money on diesel.
The
generator was expensive because in terms of diesel, to run the structure, you need many liters. And we thought that with solar energy, even if the investment is heavy at the beginning, today by using solar energy, we have less expenses in terms of consumption and the cost of diesel.
The installation of solar panels in rural areas has become the focus of the startup Eco Gabon, intending to promote ecological and responsible electricity production. In addition to being a decarbonated energy transmitted directly by the sun, it is a real alternative to traditional infrastructures.
We are a company that does not categorize customers. We aim to help all customers to make their homes self-sufficient with renewable energy, not only solar energy. Eco Gabon does not only produce solar energy, but everything that is renewable energy by using all the natural resources that we have in our country, Gabon, produce efficient energy that can meet the needs of our customers.
The idea of bypassing traditional electricity grids is not new in Africa. In Gabon, gas-fired power plants are no longer sufficient to meet the growing electricity demand. About 40% of the country's electricity comes from hydroelectric and gas-fired plants. Insufficient, according to experts. This energy crisis is leading many households to turn to renewable energy for lighting.
Before we arrived, the client had an 80 kVA generator which was subject to many fuel purchases and maintenance expenses.
Oui, 80 kVA. Mais justement, était soumis à beaucoup de dépenses pour l'achat du carburant et de la maintenance.
As you can see, we're on a site that is quite remote, so moving a technician each time for the generator's maintenance was more expensive.
Ça lui revenait plus cher
This is why he opted for renewable energy solutions such as solar energy to enable the site to be lit day and night by solar panels.
Gabon, a coastal country in Central Africa, benefits from 2,080 hours of sunshine per year. That is just over 68 hours of daylight per month, a real asset for the solar market.
Gabon is an ideal location for solar energy in many ways, especially its geographical location because, as you know, Gabon is located on the equatorial line and in the tropics, which makes it bathe in sunlight. It's naturally sunny and on a very large scale. It would be advantageous for Gabon to equip itself with large solar installations.
Universal access to modern energy is one of the sustainable development goals for the least developed countries. In Gabon, energy sources are mainly hydroelectric and geothermal. Their high costs are reflected in the monthly bills of consumers. Some Gabonese believe solar panels will eventually reduce electricity costs by almost half.
Welcome to the second part of our show. In Mali, the consequences of applying the new mining code are beginning to be felt. A new law promulgated this summer increases the state's stake in mining projects from 20% to 30%. This is threatening the investments of two of the country's lithium mining competitors. Australia's Leo Lithium has suspended its listing, while London-based Codal Minerals says it is exempt from the new regulations. Clarifications from the Malian government are awaited. And it's time for Kenya's first Islamic bond, or sukuk. The market authorities have authorized the issuer, Linzo Finco Trust, to raise $20 million. The aim is to finance the construction of more than 3,000 housing units to support the government's affordable housing agenda. For regulatory reasons, East Africa has been slow to open the way to this ethical financial product, but analysts expect considerable interest from investors. Urban congestion in Nairobi, Kenya's capital, may soon be eased and greenhouse gas emissions reduced. President William Ruto has signed an agreement worth almost $60 million with the U.S. development agency Millennium Challenge Corporation. The deal will finance the purchase of electric buses to operate on Line 2 of the Bus Rapid Transit, the BRT. Drinking water is a precious resource that we all need, but millions of people in Africa still struggle to gain access to it, many of them being children. In Rwanda, one woman has put her entrepreneurial spirit to good use in this quest. She has succeeded in changing the lives of more than 73,000 people who now have access to subscription-based drinking water dispensers. This revolutionary solution considerably reduces the need to buy bottled mineral water. This is a report by Temistokle Hazikimana.
In Rwanda, less than 50% of the population has access to drinking water, according to UNICEF. It is a health threat that can result in the appearance of various diseases and affect the health of the population. In the capital, Kigali, as well as in the surrounding region, it is undeniable that drinking water remains a serious problem. The water that the inhabitants draw from the rivers is indeed not always clean.
The river is the cause of the death of many people who come to collect this dirty water. This water also causes us many health problems. If we had cleaner water, we wouldn't come here.
Yvette Ishimwe, 25, is the founder of Iriba Water Group, a startup that provides clean water to rural and urban communities. She has installed water kiosks and sells filters to address the shortage of drinking water.
clean water is a serious issue in Rwanda and also in the region. For example, I'll give you simple numbers. Like in sub-Saharan Africa alone, 319 million people are without affordable access to clean water. So, you know, you can see yourself. If we still have up to 319 million people without clean water access, then that's a serious issue.
Created in 2018, Iribat Water Group has 3 components, including Iribat Tap and Drink for low-income communities. This company installs water dispensers and eco-kiosks in urban communities, especially in high-traffic areas such as markets, public parking lots, and others. Several kiosks have been set up across Kigali, like this one in Gisozi.
I work hard, and a small jerry can of water that I consume every day costs cheaper compared to mineral water. And then we find that our health has improved a lot since we started drinking this water. We therefore thank the owner of this business for allowing us to safely quench our thirst.
Dehydration and difficulties in finding drinking water in several schools are problems for which Iriba has also found a solution. Indeed, through its subsidiary Iriba Tap and Drink, the company has chosen to install water dispensers in schools. Each student, after paying a quarterly subscription of approximately $2, has unlimited access to drinking water provided by Iriba Water Group.
Before, I had health problems all the time because of the dirty water we drank here. Now we fear nothing.
The various actions undertaken by Yvette Ishimwe and her startup Iriba Water Group have made it possible to significantly increase access to drinking water for the most disadvantaged.
Especially when I see actually the low-income people, because these are our target. Those people coming one by one on the line, coming to get water. Yes, I feel very satisfied. It's a very rewarding experience. It's a very, it's something really, really good that encourages me to also wake up another morning and push forwards for more people to have access to clean water.
Thanks to her initiative, Yvette Ishimwe has already improved the daily lives of no less than 74,500 people, while already employing 590 workers. Her objective is to continue her efforts to fully satisfy the demand for safe drinking water on the Rwandan market. A complement to local government actions aimed at better water conservation through the setup of drinking water storage infrastructures.
Well, that's it for today. Business Africa is over. I'll be back next week, same time, same channel for Initiative Africa. We'll be meeting up with eco-activist Ophia Drory in Nairobi for an in-depth look at wildlife trafficking. In the meantime, you can watch this show again on our website, africania.com, and follow us on all our social media channels. Feel free to share, like, and comment using the hashtag Business Africa. Have a great week, and until next time, goodbye.